Well, first thing or two about me. My name is Sven. I'm from Cologne, Germany. I'm a very fresh luta livre black belt, which basically means I'm a no-gi jiu-jitsu black belt. No, not a 10th planet black belt, but that's a question that pops up every now and then. Today I'm going to do a class about Armdrags. I thought for a while about what I should teach, and how I could make a 1-hour format work, and I decided to choose a topic that I like a lot and that I use a lot. That's a wrestling tool that is, I think, best learned in a wrestling scenario and is genius to transfer into jiu-jitsu, into grappling and groundwork. Also, it plays out that Daniel's class was like the ideal precursor for what I want to do, because he talked a lot about angles and body position, and the arm drag is another way to put those principles to work. So I chose to teach a tool, and I grew up as the son of a carpenter, so I grew up with a craftsman mentality. Then I went to university, started science and stuff, and I think that you should learn how to use a tool, and you learn how to use it correctly. So I'm going to be pretty distinct about the arm drag, the version of the arm drag I do, and I want you to try. And if you learn how to use that tool and like scientifically understand why you use it that way, then that gives you the opportunity to play around with it, and we will come to a point where it doesn't matter to me anymore what you do with it. You did everything right up until here, and now do it with your game and your personal preferences. May I use you as input? I've been doing Armdrags for quite a while, and our wrestling coach made a huge impact on it by just showing me a few tricks about it. What you usually learn is, if you learn an Armdrag and you don't learn from someone who's really good at teaching wrestling, is you go from outside to inside, bring it over, grab somewhere on the inside and pull. That's like the basic thing you learn, and you pass the arm, and in jiu-jitsu you go for the back, and in wrestling you go for takedowns. What I want you to do is grab the hand from the outside, and all that hand does is a sideways motion that brings that hand across my center line. I don't pull, I don't push, the only thing I do is that. And on the point where we would be able to shake hands, that's pretty much the exact midway point, I pass the handshake and I reverse karate chop my thumb in his armpit. The base of my thumb, so my thumb pops out back here, and the base of my thumb slams into his armpit. And I close my monkey grip without the thumb behind the gap between tricep and shoulder. That's where I close. If I reach that point, I don't care for that hand anymore. There are versions of the arm drag that push that one in and I pull on the chicken wing. That's hard to do no-gi. What I do here is, as soon as I get to here, I pull my elbow down to my hip, and I do a penetration step with my front leg. That's what I want to do. I have a better angle now, I have a better position, and what's mostly forgotten about Armdrags, I broke his posture. I have a strong wrestling posture, he has not. Otherwise, what happens if you just pull the Armdrag is it's pretty much 50-50, and now we start chasing each other's asses. Not that there's anything bad about it, but that's not what I want to do here. So I pass it past the center line where I could shake his hand, I go further and upward karate chop, pull down and lean my chest on his shoulder blade. As that hand has no better job now, I go for the next best grip, that is searching the hip bone on the other side, because I need diagonal control, and I pull the hip bone in. Only up until here. Grab a partner, do it slowly, bring that in, only sideways, don't pull. If you pull, he will pull back and the arm drag's gone, and I'm going to chase it and lose it. So it's only a small motion to the side, chop, get in there. This should give him whiplash, and pull in here. Keep his posture broken. And I'm only keeping my head up because I'm talking to you and it looks better, but I'm leaning onto his shoulder. Okay? Everybody, grab a partner, just give that a few tries and we're going to work on from there. Okay, we stay with the same stuff, just a few hows and whys. We did the how, lots of whys now. If I leave any of those details out I showed you, then something gets lost, something breaks down. The step I make, I step towards the inside of his leg, and I want my inner thigh, my inner upper thigh, to touch his inner upper thigh. Because you all might have experienced that if you do an arm drag and just pull him towards you, he just runs with that leg first and he's gone. And I don't get anything. He just, he might even get my back from there if I'm lazy. So I'm stopping him from coming forward, and by pulling on the shoulder and blocking out the hip, I force the shoulder over his hip, and that's basically breaking his posture. So he wants to step, but I get in there. I might catch a knee to my inner thigh, that sucks, but the posture is worth it. Okay. Also, don't just remember to pull him down. I want to connect my elbow to my hip. That's a strong connection and it's easy to make. And we do that all the time in other situations. I pull my elbow down to my hip, and that step I use to stop him also helps me to put my weight in there. I don't need to be strong, I just need to be heavy. Being heavy is easy. Oh. My back leg forces my hip into it. Yeah? Penetrating his space. And some of you forgot that hand. If I don't have a control on the other side of the body, he will spin around and what's down. And just go. And the best grip is the hip bone. People teach grabbing the lat. I don't think that's such a good grip because control of the hip is better than control over the shoulder line here. And also, there might be people that don't have a grabbable lat for whatever reason, for being not muscular enough or being too fat, but everybody has a hip bone. And if I pull that in, there I can control it. Next thing I do is put my feet parallel. Just a little bit of pinch, just to make it a bit harder for him to get his thigh out there. That's all there is. This grip now here, the further I move along, is getting continuously weaker. I just hold on to it, not for dear life, just to make it hard for him to free his arm. I don't want to give it to him. But here I reached a whole lot. Okay? Give it another try and really look for those details. Pull him down and get in his way. And use that step to get more impulse into pulling him down. And help each other. Yeah.
So, he stands.
Yeah.
I sometimes have problems with like doing this penetration step.
You're just falling forward. You're doing an extra step, falling forward. That's it. Like that warrior stand.
Yeah.
That's basically it. You fall into warrior stand.
Okay.
Could you please show that again? Because we had a lot of problems.
Sure.
I turned sideways somehow.
Okay. So, passing past the midline, slamming up as high as you can, pulling the shoulder down and falling into it. That's it. It's just that step. It's strange because it's too far, but that gives me all the forward pressure I need to get here. And this is the point. Now, from here on, it's time for creativity. Do your favorite takedown, jump for the back, lift him or just put him down straight away. We're going to come to that. But up until here, I want you to be precise about what we do. That's the actual arm drag up until the end, until the position. And we will see what we do with that. Okay? Give it a try. Okay. Back again. I take this one, move it past the center line, karate chop, and fall. My weight falls to my front leg. I saw some people just do that. It's equally distributed. I don't want that. I want my back leg to push my body weight into my front leg so my whole body weight falls into that pull. If I would do that without him, I would fall over to that side. Get the hip bone, close your elbow in, get attached to him. Okay? Some of you were asking if I put my arm in here all the way because it feels like there's some slack. I close the slack by closing in my elbow. I don't commit to any other grip until I have a particular purpose in mind. If I want to go for a back take, for example, then I might commit my hands to a seat belt and jump on the back. But the basis and the end of the arm drag sequence is here. And from here, I have a gazillion options depending on what he does and depending on what I like. The first option we're going to do is, whatever we do, he will try to be upright again. He won't let me just do that. If he does that, if he just stays here, I can pretty much drop my body weight towards that shoulder that I still got under control and collapse him here. That's just it. It's as easy as that. If you want to make it a bit more technical, that back leg steps to the front again to trip him. Boom. And I just drag him down here. But he won't just let me allow that because it's also easy if he stays that low for me to just jump on him, go for the back. So most people won't do that. They want to be upright again. Okay, him being upright gives me a few opportunities. First, I keep that grip and I switch this one. I want to bring my hand all the way over to that side under his butt cheek. I have a pretty solid deadlifting, squatting body position. That arm still pulls him into me. And now I can pick him up, clear the legs, and hip by bringing my elbows apart and bring him down. I'm being easy with Thomas. Come to a leg drag. That's one option. Give it a try because it's a good example to learn to wrestling lift somebody. He's coming upright, I'm diving down for that grip, I keep that one. Hand all the way through, I want him to sit on my forearm, bringing my hip in. Him down, come to my leg drag, and go on to pass. Whatever I want to do. From here on up, depending on how safe you feel with it, if you're an arm dragging white belt, practice the arm drag until you feel well attached to the hip, until you feel this posture is broken, until you get a feeling for the move. The better you are with the move, the more tries give those things I'm going to show around that. That's just the first thing we're going to do, is that picking up, clearing everything, putting him down into leg drag, and we're going to go through more stuff afterwards. Okay? So, give it a try again. So far, so good. I purposely just showed the arm drag, dragging with my front arm, if I'm in that stance. I think you should use an arm drag on both sides because they work both sides. You just stay in the same stance you are in, so I want to arm drag that arm. It's awkward to do that because that path is very long. I have a very long arm, a very long way to go, so it's hard to do an arm drag here. I might pull it off, but it's not ideal. Especially if he's aware of me liking arm drags, and I give him all that way, it won't work. What I like to do is I take an inverted grip, so I put my thumb down and control that wrist. That's not a worrisome grip for him. He might accept it, so I'm not committed to that. The next thing I do is I bring that shoulder inside his shoulder, and all the time I look at this arm because he's nervous about that arm drag. I can do the arm drag from here. He won't allow me if he knows that I do that. So I can arm drag just from here. Can do that same thing. But he knows now. He saw me the last two fights putting people down with arm drags, so he's aware of that now. What I do is I annoy him with that shoulder on the inside. And as soon as I feel an opportunity for him or him trying to bring his shoulder to the inside, I will try and prohibit that, but only as a fake. I actually let his shoulder get to the inside, I keep my own elbow close, and here's my arm drag. That's that same position. I chop my thumb in there. The penetration step is a bit tricky now, because I have to bring that leg out again, but here we are. Back to the same shit. Okay? So what I do, he knows about that arm drag now, so I will just annoy him here. Lean into him, I want him to lean again. He wants his shoulder on the inside. I make him believe I don't want that. There we are again. Stay with that grip, or depending on what you want to do, choose a grip of your own to lift him up or to put him down. Okay, one more time. Thumb down grip, shoulder on the inside of his shoulder, and aim for that arm. He will hide that, and hiding that arm brings that shoulder farther forward. There I am, attached again to the hip bone or to a grip of my choosing, depending on which purpose I want to fulfill with it. Okay? One more time, one?
Yeah,
Sure. Trying to do something. That angle might grip you. So, thumb down grip, shoulder on the inside of his shoulder, aiming for that arm constantly. I can grip fight for that. I really wanted him to believe that I want to undrag this arm. He won't allow that. He will pummel to the inside again. There's the shoulder. Oh. There we are again. And now we have arm drags on both sides, and that's pretty annoying to have such a strong setup for both sides. Okay? Give it a try. There's a bit of curiosity about where my elbow is. For the arm drag itself, it doesn't really matter if my elbow's on the inside or on the outside. But usually he won't allow my elbow to stay on the inside because that's a very suspicious grip. I can use that for fireman's carries or back takes or whatever. So he just won't allow me to keep my elbow in here. And that kind of kills it. I keep my elbow close to myself and my shoulder does all the work. That's not suspicious to him. That's just a wrist control and nothing more. I can't really, it seems like I can't really do anything from here. Many people allow that. Also, I don't really care. It's hard to force his hand somewhere. If he wants to get his hand to the outside, fine, I have an underhook. I'm cool with that. And I'm so close on my shoulder that I'm already, not only do I have an underhook, but I'm also close to the hip already. So, elbow in, because he noticed there's something going on here. And that's it. I fight for the inside control of my shoulder, not because I actually want it, just because I want him to fight harder for it. I want him to be annoyed by that and bring his shoulder in. That makes it easy for me to go here. Okay? That just as a quick troubleshoot, because there's so many people arguing where the elbow should belong, just keep it in. If you don't know where to put your elbows, just glue it to your rib. Follow-ups, and you can pretty much, you might have to modify them a bit, but you can use them for both sides. A thing I do very often of the regular arm drag is I'm a bit too slow and he gets upright before I can enter. But I achieved something, I can work with that. What I really like to do is do an inside trip. So I fall on my knee, hook his leg, bring him down. I do that a lot. Because people anticipate my arm drags, I get them, but I don't get to the end of it. So that's like a midway takedown. Pull him down, he gets up before I can really get around. And now it's a chasing game again, and I might lose that. The same time I pummel my leg in, I pummel my arm drag arm to the other side so he can't take my back when we fall. Otherwise I would be fully committed to that side, I don't want that. So, we just fall here. Once more. Grab the wrist, bring it in. Don't shake his hand, karate chop, bring him down. I'm not quick enough. I can bring him down. Okay? Give that a try. Don't, I might just use someone else because of your foot. Don't hook back of the knee or crook of the knee to crook of the knee. That sucks, legs get entangled, he resists and ligaments tear. I don't want that. If I get to here, the back of my knee is relatively low on his calf. I bring my knee all the way down during it. So our knees don't get entangled and it's pretty safe. It's like a very low single leg takedown. Like, stand up again, please. It's pretty much like that one. Only that all this is my leg and my hip. And again, I don't leave my hand here, obviously. Just do a Superman here. A double Superman. Okay? Give it a try? Yep. Try it. Those two arm drags we did were the active arm drags that I start them and I finish them. The cool thing with arm drags is we can do it off his grips. So oftentimes, again, people know I do arm drags. I've been doing it for a while and most opponents are aware of it. They don't like that grip and they grip fight very early. But I might just offer him something. Now it's his grip. And as the only mission of that arm here is to, not to pull or whatever, just to do that, I can do that with his grip. It's pretty unsuspicious hand. So he has a grip, I pretty much just fake a heart attack, and I just slap my chest and get in there. It's just bait, just throw it out there. There I'm in again. Same thing on the other side, I do the same posture, and he's counter grip fighting here. He's counter grip fighting, and as soon as he grips any way, shape or form with that hand, doesn't matter how, shoulder position is the deciding factor again. I pretend I don't like it till I arm drag him. I tend to grab when I do it on that side, I notice. Okay? So also try doing the passive ones, and again, choose what you want to practice. If you feel like overloaded already, just practice what you did up until now. And the more experienced people, or the quick learners, or the ones that are not as tired, just add more to it. So one more weapon I can use off that. Let's take that passive one. You have a grip here, any form of grip. Yeah, you choose the same grip as I did. Bring that across. Again, he wants to be upright. I let his shoulder pass. Get down on a single and finish that. Simple single leg setup. The only thing important here, you want to get your head to the inside because that's like the preferred way of doing a single. You can do it with your head outside, but the basic single is with your head inside. Don't go for the single first and then try fiddle your head in there. It's too hard. Let him do the work for you. We put his shoulder down. There it is. Just take the single. If you know how a single leg works, I'm not going to go into single legs because that would like blow it all up. If you like single legs, do single legs off the arm drag. And everyone else, the focus now is on those passive ones. I give him a grip. He grabs my wrist. I chest bump. Get in there. Here I am. Okay? That was a bit sloppy because I got the elbow, not the armpit. There it is. Okay? Try the passive ones. Let's see how that transfers, and that's why I love wrestling so much, and learning grips and attacks in wrestling, and then putting them into jiu-jitsu because you learn them right there, or you learn the idea behind it, and then it's easily transferable with, we are experts on jiu-jitsu, so we can learn something in wrestling and incorporate it into jiu-jitsu. I think that's the easier path to adapt it. I use Armdrags from guard situations a lot. Butterfly guard or open guard situations in general because I have a bit more space so I can grip fight. The easiest way to start doing them is whenever he reaches for my feet. That's a good go for me. Because usually when he reaches for my feet, there's a bit of a gap here. And especially if it's not a strong grip, if he's just fiddling around with my feet, and he's not holding onto it like crazy, I can, with the help of my foot, bring them to the inside, grab them, and now the thing is, pull him down again. I can get my guard pass when I just pull across. I want to pull him down. I use my body weight again to pull him down. His shoulder is lower than my shoulder. Perfect. Just do combat base with the foot in the middle. So he established inside position. Here especially, if I do an arm drag and I just pull, I might pull him into a knee slide. If I just pull that way, I might pull him halfway into a knee slide. I might get this, but he might get the knee slide. He might get my arm, whatever. I just might pull him past my guard. The same thing, by the way, in standing. If you do a lazy arm drag, you can pull him into a shoot. That's pretty much the same thing. But if from that same situation, I focus on pulling his shoulder down, I want my pull direction to end up here, not somewhere back there. If I pull down, there is no knee slide. And I can initiate a scramble or a back tap. So let's do these two scenarios. Both knees on the ground. Either he goes to go for your feet, you pull him over here, pull him down. Or you do it from the grip fight. We have enough space to do it from the grip fight. I can do the same thing outside, inside. I have to do that because I have a bad knee here. I have to step my knee out. That's a bit annoying. You can do it with the knee in and slip it out later. But I like to do that. On the other side, my knee's okay. So right here, I don't have to take the knee out. Do it later. To take the back. Situation one is this. Either it goes from my feet or we do it from the grip fight. Again, depending on how good you are, how well adapted you are to it. If it's all new to you, choose one. The hand fight is the closest we have to what we did in stand-up. The other situation is him in combat base, a foot in the middle. He established inside position. He's a fucking leg locker. One of those guys. Search for the gap, again, from grip fighting, from giving him something. Search for the gap to get through there. Hold the shoulder down. Make a bit of weight, use your body weight. Ooh, come on. No leg locks here. Okay? One more time?
Do your legs also
No, later on I can use leg pushes and stuff, but that's like the basic thing for it. The basis is just focus on the arm drag. You can mix that with whatever you like. Okay? So again, I don't do anything on him with my legs. I just bring my weight out of the way or my body out of the way to use my weight. So I'm sliding into him. That's the equivalent of instepping, of that penetration step. I come up. I can later on, depending on what I like, I can use a stopping foot to make it even worse for him. And on the butterflies, I can, of course, use my butterflies with it. Yeah. Give it a try. What I said in the beginning is I wanted to teach a tool, and that's that crude stuff I said about craftsmanship and science, and there's art in there too. Learn how to use a tool, and what you build with it, I don't care. But I think there's a way to use a tool, or a good way to use a tool, and the better you are at it, the more you can create with it. So the arm drag is just that one tool, and fit it into your game however you want. You can do lots of stuff with it, even if you're not prone to wrestling. It fits in with some of the stuff Daniel did earlier on about angles, and you can also fit it in with stuff Jeff showed. As I use it as a leg entry a lot, especially from butterfly half guard. There's a few ways to load someone up from half guard, from butterfly guard, excuse me, but the arm drag is one more. Go into leg locks. If he resists a bit here and tries to get his base back, get into inside some cargo again. Take the back, initiate a scramble, go for takedowns from there. It's just a tool that you're free to use for whatever. What I wanted to take you home is the active and the passive way of using that tool. And the most important thing, or let's say the most forgotten thing, is break his posture with it. In you pulling him down, rip his shoulder down. German is a bit more precise than English. Yeah, it is more precise. So we have a few words for pulling actions, and explosive pulling is reißen in German. Sounds awesome too. And in wrestlers call it anreißen. It's not pulling, but more like yanking. I guess that's, so it should be on yanking. Just rip that arm down, give him whiplash. You can flow all the time, but that one is break his posture. Breaking posture might take a bit of force. Okay, just fall your body weight into there. And with that broken posture, the better angle, that's what Daniel talked about, and the superior position, do as you please. Work with that. Thank you a lot for so many people attending my class. That's the biggest class I ever taught. We're definitely going to take a picture. I'm going to be here through the whole week, and usually I'm here for any open mat. If you want, find me for more arm drags or whatever I can help you with. Find me to roll. especially if you're from Germany and you're interested in inviting me in to have me stutter around for more than an hour, give me a heads up. And otherwise, thank you for the class. We're going to take a picture quick.